I'm going to show a fourth match between Neeb and Showtime during semifinals best of 5 in 2018 WCS Leipzig. That's Neeb on the left and Showtime on the right. 2018 WCS Leipzig is the first of 4 events of the 2018 WCS circuit, which is part of Starcraft World Championship Series. Here you can see the map pool, casters, hosts and observers, prize pool, notable participants. At any point you can stop the video and take a closer look. Here's the group stage 3. There are 3 group stages here, and then they move on to the brackets. I'm going to show you this match right here, Neeb versus Showtime. It's going to go down on Violet Square, and we'll take a look at the game from Showtime's perspective. Here you can see some statistics of race, region, country, and additional map statistics. Furthermore, 2018 WCS Leipzig is part of a Starcraft 2 World Championship Series. This series have a final where 16 champions will be contesting for the Champion of Champions title 2018 Starcraft 2. And here's the breakdown. These are Korean events. These are rest of the world events that will make up World Championship Finals. 2018 WCS Global events, 2 additional events right here. And if you want to watch the castings, you can go to AndYouLeftTheGame YouTube channel. You can find this channel by typing AndYouLeftTheGame in the search. This will take you to the results. You can see 1 out of 2 or both accounts here. I'll show you, bear with me. The first account has no blank spaces whatsoever, so you can just click on it and this will take you to the channel where you'll be able to find the games by going into playlists and choosing whatever you want to watch. Otherwise, you can end up with 2 search results. One has no blank spaces, another one has blank spaces. Click on the one with the blank spaces and look for featured channels on the right. Then click on the account and you'll be straight into the channel where you'll be able to click on the videos you want to see. This is a visual representation of Starcraft 2 World Championship Series Global Finals, other events, Global IEM Katowice, and the circuit events. As you can see, the total pricing is over 2 million, 8 best Korean players versus 8 best circuit players, 3 leagues for Korea, 2 super tournaments for Korea versus 4 tournaments for the rest of the world and 4 challenges for the rest of the world. Global IEM Katowice, 250,000 payout, GSL versus the World All-Star event. Now let's take a look at the players that are going to compete in this match. The first one is Neeb. Neeb is from United States of America. He made over $290,000 playing Starcraft 2. And here you can read more about him and learn about his trivias, achievements, and compare these achievements, learn more about the cups he was playing into. Maybe you'll be interested in going there yourself, taking a look at those tournaments from a viewer seat and participate in some of these yourself. I'm not sure what kind of qualifiers you need to go through, but probably if you are in Platinum League or Masters League, you won't have a problem registering it. However, I'm not sure if there's a cap for that. And furthermore, his opponent is going to be Showtime. It's Protoss versus Protoss. Here you can read more about the Protoss race. He is Tobias Sieber, a professional German Protoss player who is currently playing for Arma team. He made over $180,000 playing Starcraft 2. And just as Neeb, he has won many major tournaments. However, in 2017 he wasn't as successful as Neeb, and he was considered to be an underdog, but obviously for no longer. This time Showtime has proved to be the better Protoss, and probably there are new patches, continuously evolving game to blame, or just gameplay mistakes. You decide yourself. Now that we have learned about the players and the tournament that they're playing in, let's move on to Violet Square and take a look at the game from Showtime's perspective. The game begins with hotkeying of these locations. As you can see, this map is huge, and it gives the player an opportunity to expand north continuously, and certainly this means that economy focused games can be played here, and massive armies can be very quickly built up. When 4 or 5 nexuses are building up, Protoss will most likely decide to build himself a massive fleet protected by a very powerful mothership that will cloak its fleet, and without the observers it would be very difficult to go about this. Now, as you can see, he builds himself 2 gases and moves on with a wall off from his main base. He's not walling off himself through the second natural. No, he's walling himself in the main base. The first matches were very early game intense, and one for Neeb. So if Showtime wins, he's going to equal the score and stay in the game. If Neeb wins, then it's all over. The best Protoss of Leipzig 2018 will go away his hands and stay in the champions Neeb. As you can see, Showtime sent a probe to scout around Neeb's base. Surprisingly enough, Neeb is not going to scout. These kind of scouts will make sure that the players can, with a relative ease, learn more about upcoming cheese plays and the player's decision to play whatsoever. So for example, if a player sees an early Stargate, so he can expect Phoenix Oracle aggression. If he sees 5 or 4 warp gates, he knows that 12 or 13 zealots are incoming, and he may react to this appropriately. As normally, Showtime scouts around before building himself a second nexus, and he decides that it's certainly a safe option now. This stalker is going to protect against incoming probes or zealots. It seems that both players will start playing by expansion. As you've seen previously, Showtime was doing some harassment in Neeb's base by blocking his second base with a pylon. So Showtime built a pylon in the location where a second place otherwise should be built, and Neeb needs to bring this down. Now Showtime decided to build himself an illusional phoenix, which will be sent to Neeb's base for scouting purposes. Here, two adepts will try to harass and further learn about the playstyle. As you can see, he's running around and he looks for any kind of buildings that would give away the strategy chosen by Neeb. And it looks like Showtime already knows that Neeb is going for Phoenix play. As you can see in the army panel here, both of these players are playing Phoenix, so they may as well attack each other lines and try to kill as many probes as possible, and in this way reduce opponent's economy. When there are 5 phoenixes, they can easily kill off 10 probes, and if there's not enough troops, if the battery shield is not being built close to the lines, then too many losses can end up being a certain defeat for the opponent that suffered all those probe destructions. In here, so far so good. Both players are stacking up on phoenixes. Surprisingly enough, they are not going for quick upgrades. As you know, upgrades play a crucial role in Protoss versus Protoss, Zerg versus Zerg, Terran versus Terran matches. It's certainly quite surprising that they are not going for quick upgrades. However, I suspect that's the case due to the fact that they would otherwise build an additional 3 phoenixes instead of additional 1-1-1 upgrades for Protoss. In any case, it looks like Showtime is ahead with the probe count, so this means he will be consistently making extra resources that will go into extra nexuses or extra phoenixes in this case. Both of these players, quite surprisingly, are focusing solely on phoenix play here, and I suspect that they assume that large number of phoenixes here is going to help them to lift all those stalkers up and simply get rid of them. Besides that, they can catch relatively large, like for example 15 phoenixes can catch up relatively large opponent forces, such as a mix of stalkers and zealots. Lift up the stalkers, shoot them up, and then easily either destroy zealots with the ground force or just continue lifting them if there's enough energy to do that. Phoenixes rely heavily on energy to fight, and they cannot attack ground units, they can only attack air units. So in order for them to attack ground units, they actually have to lift these, and that is certainly the case here. Wow, it's obvious that Neeb is moving on for an aggression here. 10 phoenixes versus 10 phoenixes. Luckily for Showtime, his defense here has been supported very much by stalkers on the ground, and those phoenixes will be healed further with the shield batteries. There were 2 shield batteries in his main base, and these will put Phoenix health up to speed, and that's exactly why Neeb has retreated, due to the fact that Showtime's Phoenixes were consistently healed with shield battery, and the stalkers on the ground provided additional support. Now the scouting efforts continue, and it looks like both of these players more and more focus on Phoenix play and continuous expansion. If you look at the mineral counter, you'll see that the mineral counter is very much down. It doesn't really go for too long over 300, 250, and that's exactly how this game must be played. The mineral count must be kept to the lowest, because all minerals have to be spent as quickly as possible, building units, building probes, building other nexus buildings, and in this way the advantage is certainly being gained here. Very interesting choice of play here. Even more phoenixes are in effect here, and it looks like at this point Showtime is moving on. Both of these have only anion pulse crystals and no attack upgrades. Very interesting play. I kind of suspect that they just want to invest as much as possible into unit count, and Showtime has certainly been doing this much better. He has more phoenixes. Obviously some of his phoenixes are wounded, and that's probably the case, and here it's the showdown. The attack is incoming here. More phoenixes are queued up to show up in Neeb's base, and it looks like this massive number of phoenixes by Showtime has prevailed very effectively over Neeb. He has 6 phoenix lead here, and another attack may prove to be disastrous for Neeb if Neeb is not going to support his forces with ground units. Here we can see Stalker has just warped in, and we see another fight. More phoenixes reinforce Showtime's fleet. Only 3 phoenixes left versus 14. 1 versus 14, and at this point Neeb decides to GG out, believing that all those stalkers right here wouldn't be able to do much against 15 or so phoenixes that would be easily able to lift up these stalkers and kill them off. As you can see, these bases are not fully mined out, and the 4th base was on its way for Neeb. This means that certainly Neeb decided to leave the game on his own. It wasn't a decisive victory, however, it's still a certain defeat for the previous champion Neeb.